some research on ANAVEX. It's a really interesting drug. It's a pretty decent hedge fund, out of Texas. No, I don't think the HHS guy was saying he had insider info. God forbid. I don't know if Gilead will ever return to growth. It's hard to say. I'm pretty hopeful. It's a well-managed company. Gilead's going to dominate HIV one way or another. There's a little bit of a therapeutic plateau when it comes to HIV that others are going to reach, but there's just not that many people interested in HIV, so they'll keep their market share. One of the issues, though, is that plateau where drugs go generic, and you're better off just using a generic at some point. But that twice-a-year shot is also going to help a lot. I have to look at it. ANAVEX is certainly intriguing. Give me 5 seconds, guys. I'll be back, and we'll look at some more stocks. Look at ProKidney. I've looked at it once before. Let's see what's going on. Capricor is a pretty good short. CAR-T can work sometimes. Here's ProKidney. $3.17. It was 83 cents at one point. 400 million cap now. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 say it wrong. Baker Brothers are very good. They're long only, which obviously in biotech, like being long only is a little bit of a challenge. You basically have to find one company that's going to be like a gigantic winner, and it's not easy to do. I don't know anything about ProKidney. I haven't looked at it in a while. I think it's cell therapy for kidney disease, but you gotta bear with me, buddy. Okay, here's the results. Well, I know kidney disease pretty well. Done a lot in that space. Ran some of the first kidney disease studies in certain kidney diseses. ProK. You need to do a placebo-controlled study. So we're looking at Capricor right now. If you're talking about some other stock, that's not Capricor. I don't know what to tell you. This is CAP 1002. This drug is literally called CAP. How much more do you need to know? 1.5 times 10 to the 8. So what is that, 150 million? You shouldn't have. All right, so you got 150 million cells, right? But if they're taking 2 hearts, can't believe CoreWeave's doing this. They really spent 25 million in 1 quarter? Capricore? Well, actually, their operating burn was very, very low. It's August something or other in Capricore. We'll look it up in a minute. Oh, I know. I start with the mechanism of action, though. So think about it this way. There's 6 to 9 billion cells in the heart, and 2 or 3 billion are cardiomyocytes. I start with the clinical science, or the basic science, and then I go to the clinical trials. That's my method every time. I don't go straight to the trial. Start with the science. So if you have 150 million of these, how many actually even see the heart? Like, what's the thesis? Has anybody done radio label of this? Pretty short. T cells last a while. So maybe 1 million cells would actually stay in the heart. I'd actually be surprised if it was that much. One study showed that nearly all of the infused cells exit the circulation within minutes, 99%. One study showed 0.15 ever reach the heart, and none are there by 3 days. So you have minutes. And that's assuming the stem cell does anything in the first place. I always love these stem cell shorts, because when you try to do IV stem cells, it never works. Yeah, you can do direct injection in the heart too, but it's IV. In their first study, they did direct injection in the heart. I think they moved to IV. Yeah, intravenous. Even direct injection in the heart doesn't work. Mesoblast used to try that. The best part is they have Suzanne Hendricks, who was the cassava statistician. It's a bit of an imbalance, and maybe an imbalance. This is why you don't do an 8-patient clinical trial. Well, they're saying the standard error, SIBO standard error, is only 9.2. Okay, so the standard deviation, so you convert from standard error to standard deviation, right? Not that hard. So placebo, this is at 12 months. was 29.3, 9.2 standard error, and 32 standard deviation, okay? So CAP, never get enough of this name, 65.5, incredible performance there. 31 standard deviation, which makes sense. So they're getting 1 standard deviation difference, if you can believe the numbers. And we also don't know what happened to that one patient. You're saying the pull test itself has inter-rater variability. Well, left ventricular ejection fraction is not the primary endpoint here. MBIOS microcap, I would not look at it if I were you. Because the yellow sick guy has the same stuff in his heart. There's nothing that the dead guy has that the sick guy doesn't. And it's not enough cells in the first place to make a difference. Most of the cells never even make it to the heart. I'm calling cap. Calling cap on cap. So yeah, a bit of a strange. So I mean, the drug got better over time. 1.2, then 1.5, then 1.5, then a pretty big jump to 2.6. So it's kind of like not stat sig, and then at 12 months magically has this huge. I mean, let's look at this, okay? I mean, I don't even need to do it like this. Let me do it like this. Yeah, little sus. The separation. Let me include 0 here. Okay, so this is how the trial went. From 0, this is drug better than placebo, drug better than placebo. Then it plateaus. Then all of a sudden it takes another jump up. Don't know too many drugs that work that way. And this isn't over days or weeks. This is over quarters. Yeah, the FDA may just ding them right there on the mid-cycle meeting that they're just not going to approve it. There's a big supplementary index too. All you need to know is Suzanne Hendricks is involved. Fix up the stats. There is no uptake by the heart when you give a drug by IV. At least for regular cells. Suzanne, we need you again. I can't keep doing this. One more time. 172 page supplementary index. I love it. I gotta ask these docs too. They each have 1 patient or something? It's crazy. Well, that was stat sig, all right? I know it's an exosome. The point is, I don't even think it's exosome. It's just cell sorting, right? It's, FACS, cell sorting. Yeah. Cell sorter and cell counter with the premium package. Yeah, hard to short circle. So strong. Is that 12 months? This is at 6 months. Oh yeah, remember we did do this. I remember us looking at this. Do you guys remember this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty obvious once you see it. 6 and 7, right? So there's no 8th patient here. I don't know, are we supposed to see 12 patients here? Where are the 12 patients? I count 8. Right? Here's 1. Here's 2. I'm not gonna. 7. Yeah, there's only 8 in here. You tell me there's 12 patients, but you give me 8 lines. How does that work? That's the only explanation. The exact same path. Likelihood is low. Look at this job. This is like ANAVEX. I love it when at the 12 month everything works out. Month 3, month 6, month 9, nothing's working. Boom. Month 12, we're Gucci. P-value, 0.6, 0.9, 0.8. Oh, it just happens to be 0.02. It's like magic. The other strength tests, man. So that one strength test works, but this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. Well, I'm sorry, these are creatine kinase. None of the strength tests work. How about this? upper limb questionnaire. No change, no change, no change, no change, no change. Isn't that the whole point of this? With outlier removed. Oh, come on, bro. Hold on. These are residuals, so these are delta from, didn't they say it's outlier subject? That's one outlier. How is this one outlier removed? Does this look like it's one outlier removed? No, I'm still an immune. Does this look like one outlier removed? I don't understand. These look totally different. Correlation for month 12, the p-value survives all changes. But we don't know for sure. Let's look at the tape, just in case anything comes out after the close. No, Barry Diller's running QVC. Right? Pretty sure. Or is it still Barry Diller? Oh, no. Barry Diller sold it. Is it John Malone now that runs it? Yeah, the CEO is different, but the question is who's the owner? There you go, Malone, yeah. I don't think mathematical finance will help you in investment banking. That's more of a quant thing. Yeah, I think it's some weird hedge thing. I agree, it's just a little bit bizarre. Some of these guys like to say they own a bunch of farmland. It's like a disaster hedge where the farmland's worth something. CAPR is right around the time my baby's due. Oh joy. Yeah, August 31st. My baby will be there before then. No, I haven't looked at the Florida shadiness. My wife is not Albanian. Yeah, I think the FDA is going to say no, man. 𝗦𝗡 is going to say no. I might got to write the FDA, though. I can write the FDA. Or maybe somebody else will. He definitely invented EBITDA. I invented revenue. Baby's going to be trading immediately. No, I don't want the baby to trade. I want the baby to create shareholder value. Look at this. We got Bengali news, baby. You see the Bengali news? You see it. You see it. Where are you going to get a Bengali news wire, bro? With Wimbledon news. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick calls on Texas. Look at this news, man. Yeah, the question is how fast does CAPR come clean? If they tell CAPR, like, hey, we're going to issue you a CRL, do we get that in 2 weeks? It's got some English at the bottom. Market making is on hold. Interactive does not like it when you run my market making program. We got to go to another broker. Egypt expects a $200 million loan tranche from China's Export-Import Bank to fund an electric train project. $100 million arbitration in Ghana's Black Volta gold mine. I got that mine. I got 5% of that mine. Interactive does not like their ideal client is not market making. We'll say that. I think they might lose money on it or have some regulatory issues for that. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, we have our own solution, Alfonso, but yeah, it's unfortunate and frustrating. Like high volume trading, I don't know if they like thousands of orders canceled and placed over and over and over again. You think so, Josh? He said like we need orphan drugs, frameworks for orphan drugs and stuff like that, but I don't know. They canceled the AdCom. Oh, interesting, Josh. They still canceled it. I don't think the data warrants approval. Order partially filled. I can do it myself. Order filled. Order partially filled. It's a shame because the briefing docs would have been legendary to read, but IonQ is insane, man. Susquehanna made $1 billion in one day on this trade. How did they do that? Did you see the deal, A27? I think it's bearish, but it's not like massively bearish. Well, they may be locked up from trading the common, but they could sell calls to their heart's content. They got free warrants. The warrants they got through the Black-Scholes on them, they're worth about 2B. Well, DMD doesn't impact the small groups of people. DMD, they could have, all they have to do for Capricor is say, you guys should have ran a bigger trial. There's plenty of people with DMD. Not massive dilution. It's not massive dilution. The company's smart to do dilution because the company's stock is not worth what it's trading for. So keep selling stock, keep buying real companies, and you might slowly reduce your downside to say $10 instead of $1, maybe 15 if you're lucky. It raises book value, but there's only so much you can do unless you want to convert the whole market cap to cash. And you really can't do that if you think about it, because the more shares outstanding you add, the EV drops. There's only so much demand for the shares. The supply does drop the stock price. I don't know that it's working. Think about it this way. I mean, I don't know if they've raised the price floor here. Let's take a look at that, because they do burn money. So as of Q1, IonQ didn't have much cash. They had 588 million. Okay. So now pro forma, let's take a look here. I don't think the price is 47, is it? So the shares outstanding were 248. Now they're 265. I'm not even including some of the deals they've done. With the deals, their shares outstanding might even be higher. But yeah, 12 billion market cap. And that's what, $1 billion. And I read somewhere that the bankers got warrants, which is wild. All right, so let's say they do another deal, okay? And they do a huge deal, all right? They do 100 million shares, okay? So massive, massive amount. 100 million shares would be an extra $6 billion. The enterprise value does not change, but what does the stock price have to go to for the enterprise value to be zero? About 20 bucks. Hold on. $20. $23 to be exact. And without the mega raise, it would be 1675. So yes, they reduced their downside by $6, but they also reduced the upside. So for the stock to do the opposite, let's say go to 20 billion market cap, the whole company is not worth 1 billion. I agree with that. So this is assuming a massive raise, right? That, would $4.5 billion would hurt the supply quite a bit. So let's do the opposite. So for 20 billion, I guess 20 billion market cap, it really would not be much, right? $55 in this case, and in this case, just $43 would be a 20 billion market cap. So, the dilution reduces the upside and it reduces the downside. But one thing I can say is that I don't think this company is going to take their cash and spend it wisely. I heard they overpaid quite a lot. This just hit on IonQ. She sold 2 million shares. I love it. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Oh, she's selling 65,000 shares. So that's not much. Quick two or 3 mil. Quick 2 or 3, little 2 or 3, little 2 3. Using the retail shareholders as an ATM. Cha-ching. So yeah, lower upside, lower downside. And the lower upside helps shorts, right? I mean, it's just a trade-off. If you want more variance, you can short more. But right now, this is the picture. And in this picture, the stock at $6 has no EV. $6. That's pretty good. So they could raise their break-even price a huge amount, but they'd be capping their, capping it as well. For 20 billion, the stock would have to be 80, maybe 75 and a half, 75 and a quarter. So we're not really at the point where they've meaningfully changed it. So it's still $6 to break even. Before today, it was closer to 2.5 or 2.25. So yeah, they theoretically, the downside, the floor went from 240 to 6. But that's assuming they don't burn this new cash. You think their Alzheimer's drug significantly slows down? Hold on, what about ANAVEX? Their Alzheimer's disease molecule seems to significantly slow down Alzheimer's disease. Well, if that's true, they should file for FDA approval. Did they file for FDA approval? Why wouldn't they file for FDA approval? The US is the biggest market for medicine. Seems really weird. So every quarter that goes by with IonQ burning 100 million, that floor goes right back down. So, I mean, that's if they just go ham and raise billions and billions of dollars, which I don't think the market would support. Maybe. But even then, like I said, they kept their upside too. I mean, if I were them, I'd probably do it. Yeah, I mean, the EMA is kind of stricter than the FDA. I don't know if anyone wants to third-gen composition of matter patent. How does that work? How do you get the same patent 3 times? You can only invent something once. Yeah, so Susquehanna got around $60 worth of warrants by overpaying only $10. Amazing deal. We need a Keston for this stock too, I agree. Yeah, they're kind of strict when it comes to Alzheimer's, but maybe, you know, because they haven't approved, I think they refused to approve a bunch of the Alzheimer's, the A-beta drugs. So they might be stricter. There could be some selection bias there too. I'm not sure you can get a good statistic with that. They're pretty conservative. I don't think Loxo's been accretive to Lilly, no. I think they wanted it just so they could sort of build out a cardio franchise. This is how you monitor this. Godel is how you monitor the situation. It's the best tool for monitoring situations. Purplish creature found in volcanic fjord is a new species named after Darth Vader in Papua New Guinea. Monitor that situation, boys. Gotta monitor that. If you're not monitoring that situation, I don't know what you're doing. I got fixed income coming, don't worry. You gotta look at the tape, man. You never know what's gonna hit the tape. Monkey on the tape. I don't know when the Sarepta data will be out. Does Stoke have revenues? I don't think they have a product. No, I think you can make concentrated bets. You just have to have super high conviction. You can't be wrong. No, I'm not looking at CAPR data right now. I'm doing some other stuff. I mean, CAPR is so obviously, I can't see the FDA approving it. It just doesn't work. So many red flags. How does this alleged medicine actually even work? They have no, like, PD where they can say, okay, here's a dose range or anything. I'm bearish. I don't know about selling puts on Sarepta. I mean, you can if you want. I mean, I'm long 10%. I own 10%. That's it, you know. Happy to do that and see what happens. I don't think retail's that big. Now, again, you can use the product for free. I think you can't do certain things, like you can't have more than like one quote monitor. You can't chat. There's a couple things like that. I think that if you have core value, doubling down isn't so bad. Doubling down is bad when you're like on a concept stock or something. Here, I mean, you have revenue in EPS, so you can make the bet. Yeah, the command line system is like, there's only one other system that is like that, and it's the best way to navigate the markets by far. That's why Bloomberg is the standard. You know, we're the new game in town, but once my INMB drops a little, and it dropped a little today, which is nice, I could do more Sarepta. But the Schwab thing is like, Schwab buying power is like very limited. Tom, you can type help in Godel and it'll give you a list of commands you can use.